Well, you have been, I mean, one of my favorite music artists of all time, but you have been a
Thank you.
beauty icon to me since the Fallen video came out. So, 2001, I'm 11 years old. I went to school on 91st Street. I would run home from school. We had this little kitchen that had a tiny TV. I would turn on 106 in Park and I would just wait for the Fallen video to come out. And it was like you at the piano. First we hear the keys, we hear the voice. Then we see that smoky eye, we see the clear lip
Smoky
gloss
eye.
popping, and then the braids with the beads. It was just such a beauty moment.
Oh my gosh. That is so beautiful. And, it's so crazy because that was how I used to still express, you know what I mean? And so, I remember just receiving so much love from specifically the braids. And you know
Yes.
how if you grew up in New York or anywhere across the globe, but particularly in New York, there's these places that you get your hair braided, and
Yeah.
all the ladies would have like the pictures of whatever
Yes.
style that we had done at the time. And I never ever would have thought that that was gonna happen. Like, you live how you live and you express how you express, and you never think that people are gonna connect with that to that level. And so anytime I hear stories like that, it's baffling and so beautiful to me that there was this connection on so many levels. It was just it's multi-layered.
Yes.
So thank you for that.
Your picture was in every hair braiding shop in Harlem, like, period. And also, I feel like even today, if you say I want Alicia Keys braids, like everyone knows what that
What to do.
means.
We know what to do.
Did you know you wanted to wear your hair like that? Like, how was that decided for the music video?
Definitely. That, for me, the cornrows and the braids, it was a part of who I am. And because at the time, music was so different and women were expressing in a much more glamorous fashion.
Yes.
And so I just did not connect. I didn't relate, like, growing up on the streets of Harlem, growing up on the streets of Hell's Kitchen, it's a different energy. And you are definitely not thinking about your hair blowing in the wind. You're thinking about, like, how am I going to get from point A to point B, not be harassed, not be
Mm.
intimidated, not be hurt, not be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And so a lot of my style and choices that you see and saw are based on that. I really do have a quite masculine energy, the way that I express, and also feminine. And now I recognize the balance between the two. But that was really, it came from those streets and it came from where I grew up. And so those braids were just how I wore my hair. That was the vibe. I mean, big, big love to Nikki Tucker, by the way, who is really the inventor of many of those styles. And
Wow.
so I love her so much. And we would sit hours and hours, and I'd be half singing here and practicing over here and playing over here, and she'd be in my hair trying to braid it and braid it and braid it. And so many times we had to wear a hat because my braids weren't finished. Like, that's where the hats came from. I just had to cover the
Oh,
braid.
the little newsboy caps?
The newsboys, the fedoras, the
Yes.
any style. It was kind of this mixture, and also some of my favorite artists, the Princes, and
Mm.
the Stevies. These are all people, Nina Simone, and all these people who were so connected to our ancestry and just expressed in that way. I don't even know how much I truly knew how much they were influencing me as well. So it's beautiful to pass it forward.
Now, were you into beauty growing up? And did your mom, who I know is an artist as well, did she allow you to express yourself with beauty?
I feel like, again, I was that girl that was like Tim's, jeans, leather jacket. I never got my nails done because I played the piano. I wanted the hair that would be fresh, but I don't have to fuss over it.
Right.
So if it was the braids, or if it was a doobie wrapped with the pins, so I could quick put it down and then put it
Yeah.
back up. It was kind of like that. Like, I didn't want to be worried about it. And so I can't say I was overly obsessed into kind of beauty in the way that people might reflect that to be, but I definitely found at a young age, of course, I loved expressing my tougher side. And I think that was just a mixture of where I grew up and the location, but also that's just what felt natural to me. To this day, like, I will pick sneakers or Timbs over heels and dresses. Like, it's just how
Yeah.
I feel. It's just kind of who I am. So, but I think that's been a big reason why we connect and why so many of us connect together, because there's this like ability to be fluid. There's this ability to be androgynous that I think I really love so much. I think it's super cool. And so I just feel like that. But I remember wanting these pairs of door knockers, which, like kind of like these.
What you're wearing
And
now.
and I was, I don't know, 11, and we were walking down the street, 42nd Street, and they always had these vendors out with all the like fake
Mhm.
jewelry and la la la. And so I wanted these door knockers so bad. And my mother was just like, no, there's no way you're gonna go out with like those big earrings. No. And I was so frustrated. She wouldn't let me get these type of things. To me, that was beauty. The door knockers, the nameplates, the Timbs, the sneakers, the matching shirt with the matching, to me in Harlem, New York, Hell's Kitchen, that was what beauty looked like. And that was what
Yes.
cool looked like. And so that's what I was into.
Yes, it is so New York. And just this idea of like kind of putting your armor on, because even as a young person, you have to deal with street harassment, men on the street saying crazy things. You can't be too, or at least I always felt like I didn't ever want to be in anything short or like, oh, that would draw attention to me. I just had to look kind of like tough.
Yeah, no, that is, you do have to put your armor on for sure. And I definitely did. So much so that I had to eventually learn how to take it off, which was
Mhm.
a hard part of the journey. Like at what point do you keep the armor on and at what point are you okay to take the armor off? And it's a hard distinction to figure out. But the armor was definitely on, officially on. And I think that's a positive thing. That's
Mhm.
a positive thing to be able to understand that you have boundaries and that you have to protect yourself. And even though I wouldn't have called it that at 11, 12, 13, 14, but now I realize, oh, I had boundaries and you had to respect my space. And that
Right.
is, that's an important thing to demand.